everyone, welcome back to another Nintendo Direct talk, and I'm here with the one and only Paul once again.
Yes, and I am here with my mother.
What is this supposed to mean? Me?
I mean, your voice is so much lower that, of course, you'd have to be much, much older.
Oh, of course, because I've been awake for that long, but anyway. But yes.
So what is it like having a mother and son Nintendo Direct discussion?
Well, this is hilarious because I think last time it was father and daughter, so this has clearly been switched.
Space-time continuum goes crazy on us.
Goodness.
One of these days we will reveal how we are actually related or lack thereof. But in the meantime, we got a Direct. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But yes, a Nintendo Direct. After what I think like nearly a year of complete radio silence, we were expecting a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. That is happening as of this recording. It's happening in a couple of days. But Nintendo decided, you know what? We're bored and we have all this stuff here just waiting to go. Let's just yeet a Direct at them out of nowhere so that you can say goodbye to the Switch 1, because this is pretty much going to be the last one, I think.
And make me feel like I wasted an hour of my life.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that was a bad Direct for you.
It wasn't bad, it was just mediocre. But there was one really good announcement in there, which is our first announcement, I think.
So yes, as you guys know, which I'm going to do now because I've completely forgotten, we are going to do a 5-minute timer each time because we talk too much.
Because we can ramble.
Yeah, we can ramble. I went back to our old videos recently and I saw like how long we would talk about one game. We talk about it for like 20 minutes and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, shut up.
The other thing we want to do is we're only going to talk about games that one or both of us are interested in. Yeah. And there's only 2 games that she liked that I didn't. There were quite a lot that I liked that she didn't.
Yeah, but you know what? It's fine. You guys get to hear Paul more than me. Hooray!
Hey, for a somewhat boring Direct, the fact that I have more than just one announcement is pretty great.
Yeah. But anyway, we will get into it. So, the first game that got announced, which was something I kind of didn't expect to get announced, was a new AI Somian file game, which I believe, I can't say the person's name, but it's no sleep for...
Kaname Date.
Yes, and for my dumb brain thought they said Dante, so I was like, why is the name Dante? Where is the end? But I've learned that it's actually pronounced, what is it? What'd you say? Date or something?
Date.
Yeah, so it's Dante, just no N sound.
So this is my pick, and this was by far the highlight of the Direct, by a very wide margin. Like, if everything else was like a 5, this was a 9.5 for me.
Wow!
Because I love the previous Somnium Files games. Nirvana Initiative was my game of the year of 2022, and I thought that both games were, well, I thought Nirvana Initiative was significantly better than the first Somnium Files, but I still loved the overall concept and how they integrated the choice mechanic. And this looks like it's going back to the original main character of the first game, whereas in the second one they experimented with other protagonists, because I guess they thought, oh, that horny pervert is just so much more attractive than all these other guys. So I'm not looking forward to that bit, but...
So Dante's pervert?
He makes Sigma look innocent.
Oh no!
So if for those of you that don't know what the Somnium Files games are, they're made by the same guy who did the Zero Escape series. And they have a similar-ish premise, is that the main character can hack into people's dreams, and in the dreams he makes decisions that are based on the dreamer's logic. So that means that if something makes sense in the real world, that doesn't necessarily mean it'll make sense in the dream. So for example, in Nirvana Initiative, there was a puzzle where there was a torch, and the solution is that you have to sniff the torch so hard that you suck it in through your nostrils.
Okay.
You have to think, like, who is it that's dreaming? What is the subject of the dream? And how is that going to progress the story? And one thing that made the Somnium Files narratives very interesting is that how you would get the different timelines was not what you said in conversation, but how you solved the puzzles. Because each puzzle has multiple solutions, and if you solve it one way, that'll get you to one timeline, solve it another, that'll lead to another. Whereas the investigations are more or less just examine everything in sight and you're good to go. So a very unique premise to the whole like choose your own adventure genre.
It sounds a bit different to what's it called, the Nevada Initiative group?
Well, the graphics are pretty much identical. As
Okay.
one would expect, being the third game on the same hardware.
Because didn't Nevada Initiative have 2 games? Or
Nirvana Initiative's the second game in the franchise.
okay, yeah. I see. Just got to say, guys, this proves I know nothing. I know nothing.
Well, I have been telling her she should get into it for a while
Yeah.
because, again, the first game was directed and written by the Zero Escape guy, and the second game was written by the Zero Escape guy, but got a different director. So they have a very, very similar vibe, and there's even some absolutely jaw-dropping Zero Escape references in Nirvana Initiative.
Yeah, guys, do you think I should get this? Do you think I should try out the Somnium Files series? Let me know. Like that.
It'll be on both. This video will be on both of our channels, so let one of us know in whose ever comment section you're in.
Exactly. But yeah, happy for the Somnium Files fans. Surprised that they're getting another one, but you know what? I guess
A third one on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew there would be a third one eventually, but I didn't think it would be on the Switch. So that's wild.
Well, as you said in one direct, they like to have a habit on putting sequels onto the Switch. So
Yeah, that they do.
very true. Sweet. Well, I guess we can move into the next one, which so funny thing is they did like 3 Japanese games in like a row, and so I was kind of getting annoyed. I was like, give me the good stuff. But anyway, this next one is called The Mystery of Soulless Army Raidu Remastered. So I'm believing that it was the original game and they've remastered it to make it look prettier for the Switch and all that sort of stuff.
I'm a huge Persona fan. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Persona fan because I never got through Persona 4 Golden, but I have loved and beaten every Persona 5 game that's ever come out, and I thought that this version is closer to Shin Megami Tensei, which is the series that Persona was an offshoot of.
Yep, that's what I had.
But more of an action RPG focus as opposed to a turn-based RPG. And you know it's a Persona spin-off because Jack Frost is in it, and he's like the mascot of the series.
Yeah, this game wishes it was Persona 5.
It's also a way for Atlus to say, we still won't give you Metaphoria Fantasia, we'll give you this so that you Nintendo fanboys will shut up.
Oh no! So why did you tell me about what Raidu is about?
To tell you the truth, I have never even heard of the original before now, probably because I don't think it was ever on a Nintendo system.
Oh, interesting.
But for me, I'm just like, more Persona.
More Persona. Yeah.
So the gist of Shin Megami Tensei, because again, I think it's more that than Persona, is you recruit the enemies that you fight to fight for you.
That's
But in order to recruit, yeah, I guess that's why. But in order to recruit them, they'll like ask you questions, and you have to ascertain the demon's personality type because 2 demons could ask you the same question, but they'll need different answers depending on their personality.
Okay, interesting.
So it's a bit of a confusing mechanic, which thankfully Persona simplified like heck. And just gave everyone a default persona, and then made Joker have like the wild cards that he could go to the Velvet Room and just buy more personas.
Yep.
So I guess they're going back to the old style of recruitment.
Yep, sounds about right.
And that's why everyone likes Persona better, because they don't like social sims.
Yeah, I feel like at this point it's kind of like a tradition to have some form of persona, either itself or a persona wannabe in the direct.
Well, I'm pretty sure there was one Nintendo Direct a while ago that was called the RPG Direct.
Yeah.
This one is, I don't know, I just call it the weird one.
I call it the Japanese Direct because it was full of Japanese anime style games.
Japanese people made it, so what do you expect?
You know what? You're so right. You're so right. Oh goodness. Sweet. Okay, well, let's see. Next one that got added is another wannabe game. No, no, no. This one looks really interesting. I've seen lots of people get excited for this one. This one is called Shadow Labyrinth. So
Oh, this is...
basically, people have been wanting Nintendo to give them a new Pac-Man thing because this year marks 40 years since Pac-Man first came out, and Nintendo was like, yeah, you're not gonna get what you want, but you're gonna get something that you might like, which we're just gonna shove Pac-Man in like this Hollow Knight wannabe kind of game and put some lore into him. So that's pretty
So,
much it.
first off, a couple of things to note. It's not Nintendo that's in charge of Pac-Man, it's Namco.
Yes, Nintendo's publishing it, so they're like, okay.
Nintendo's publishing this?
Well, I would assume so if it's coming onto the Switch, but who knows?
I don't think it's a Switch exclusive.
Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. This is like, I remember seeing this. I think they said they announced it as a game at the Game Awards. I think
Something
so.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's going everywhere, but it's showing in Nintendo. So
this is meant to be a really deep cut of, I don't know if this is the director's intentions, but the way I see it is this is meant to be a reinterpretation of what Pac-Man would be like if it was released today. Because you're exploring a maze, so that's why it's a Metroidvania. And you have these ghosts that kill you in one hit, hence why it's a horror game. And Pac-Man will absorb the ghost's souls, just like how Pac-Man will have his creepy... I don't know how to describe it
yeah, I know
because I
what you
don't
mean
have
though.
footage in front of me, but the moment where he eats the enemy, and he's called Puck
Yes.
because that was Pac-Man's original name before Namco said, we want Pac-Man to be for good boys and girls.
Puck is a bad name.
Well, because they figured that teenagers would vandalize the arcade compartment so that it said something different.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I've seen lots of people get really excited for this, which is good because I remember when it first came out, I was like pointing and laughing, going, "Haha, look, it's Pac-Man! That's so funny!" And then I realized, people are actually keen for this.
Well, here's what makes it funny: is I don't like Pac-Man or Metroidvanias, but I'm super pumped for this because I just think it's such an intriguing premise, and they're doing a really deep cut on Pac-Man's history by changing his name, and I'm just curious how it'll play out. It may be one of those, I don't normally like this genre, but I'll do it anyway because I am interested in the premise.
Yep. Yep, sounds about right. But yeah, this looks cool. Very curious for how it's going to go when it comes out.
Do I have your permission to play it, Mother, or is it too scary for me?
Oh, you can play it, my son. It's all right. Just don't get nightmares.
Thank you. Will do.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, this looks cool. I was showing this to my sister, like the direct, and she was like, "Why does the main character look like the Grim Reaper?" Just like, what do you mean?
I mean, it fits the whole destroying ghosts thing.
I guess maybe this is how it's going. Maybe we're the Grim Reaper, and Puck is our little companion, helping us take the souls of those who have died.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. They actually had a release date for it, which was nice.
'Cause I don't think they
I
have
think
it
it's
anymore.
coming out in June or July, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, July 18th of this year. So
Very nice.
Soon, couple of months.
That'll be, I won't say how many years ago it was, but it'll be an anniversary of one of my mission trips.
Oh, perfect timing.
Yep.
Goodness. I guess this is a way to say happy birthday to Pac-Man, 40 years. Get horror game Pac-Man. As the present.
And I don't normally like horror games either, so there's another genre I'm willing to try out.
Yeah, pretty much. Sweet. Well, next one. Oh yeah. So with the next entry on the list, which I'm completely am surprised this was announced. I think I was laughing during this whole section because I was like, what am I watching? So because we can't get enough of Disney Dreamlight Valley, they're like, let's have another Disney game. We have Disney Villains Cursed Cafe, which is pretty much like you have a coffee shop and you are giving coffee to the villains of Disney in such dapper outfits, I must say. Like, these guys just know their fashion. So, this was something Paul wanted to put in, so fire away.
Okay, so this is a bit of a multifaceted approach that I'm taking. First off, I loved the original Coffee Talk, and this looks like it's very iterative of that game. Didn't like the second one as much, but the first one was amazing. But also, it's in the era where Disney insists on only putting out live action remakes of cartoons that pretty much everyone is better and didn't need remaking. And so they're going back to the old style of how these characters used to look. And it is fascinating because it's like, did Disney themselves actually approve of this? Or did a third party just say, hey, if Disney won't give us a Disney Renaissance, we'll make one ourselves?
Well, it does say from Disney Games, so I guess...
That's wild.
Yeah, I will agree that live actions have been pumping out and milking very hard, so it's amazing that they remember how they made their original villains, so...
We will see if the original Evil Queen from the first Snow White is in there.
Yeah, because we saw a few.
Given the controversy, I doubt it. But...
Nah, she might be, you never know. But I think they announced like that was coming out. Yeah, this came out the same day as the direct, so I'm surprised.
Same day, yeah.
Have you played it yet, or?
It's not available for rental at the moment. Oh. I thought $17 for a coffee shop for a coffee talk ripoff. That's a bit too much.
Yeah, so I guess when Paul gets it, you guys could ask him if it's actually good or not, because I couldn't stop laughing the whole time. It's like, this is hilarious.
If it's anything like Coffee Talk, it sounds like it would be a boring game, but the story makes up for it.
Yeah, that would make sense. But I just loved how everyone was in like all these different outfits and fashion. Like Gaston was wearing like a golf outfit. I can totally see Gaston playing golf for a living and just like thinking he's like great, but he's actually really bad.
Or I could see him like taking a good shot and then the shirt gets ripped off when he pulls the golf club back.
Yeah, because he's so muscular. And then you've got like, what's his name, Jafar in the background having on his phone with like earphones in, casually on his phone. That was hilarious as well. It's so funny. This is something else. But you know what? Like I said, because we can't get enough of Disney Dreamlight Valley, they gave us something else to enjoy.
Believe it or not, I didn't even think of Disney Dreamlight Valley when I saw the announcement. I thought of Coffee Talk first.
Yeah, I did think of Disney Dreamlight Valley, and then I saw the coffee, and I was like, is this some sort of Coffee Talk thing?
But I've never played Disney Dreamlight Valley, so that's probably why.
It's fair. Yeah.
I heard it was terrible on the Switch anyway.
It's bad on the Switch. It's good on consoles.
Gotta love the Switch tax.
Yep. Very much. Sweet. Okay. Well, the next one is... Oh, yeah, this one. This next one that came out, I think they only showed, like, a couple of seconds of it or something, but this one is called Eternal Life of Goldman, I think it's called. Again, another one that Paul puts in. I guess he dreams... This is basically he's dreaming like, oh, this is me because I'm an old man.
Well, I certainly hope that I'm the world's most active old man, because everyone I know, including my doctor, is always saying that I'm really healthy.
Yeah, very true. This is probably the most functioning old man I've ever seen in history. So.
Well, the reason I was excited for it, and this was even before I saw the trailer. I just saw the announcement on GameFly, and I said, "Oh, a platformer with hand-drawn environments and an orchestral score, that sounds cool to me." But then when I saw the trailer, I got more excited because I said, oh yeah, the pogo jumping. It reminds me of Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales, Shovel Knight from, Shovel Knight, and Cranky Kong from Tropical Freeze. All 2D platformer characters that love bouncing on enemies with a pointy stick.
I will say, I believe they said in the trailer that this is completely hand-drawn. So... That is very impressive. It looks nice.
That is very great.
It's nice, for devs to actually work on hand-drawn stuff to put into a game, and it actually came out really well. So, good job, devs. I don't know your names, but good job.
Now let's just hope it plays as good as it looks.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I can't remember when they said this was coming out, but it was coming
I
out
don't
soon.
think they gave a release date,
No, I
but
don't think so either.
probably not anytime soon.
Probably not. But yeah, let's see how this one this one does. Because looks cool, looks pretty, hand drawn stuff. I approve. The next one on our list. We're gonna talk about our first rhythm game, guys. Because Paul didn't want to talk about Patapon at all. I know. We're going to be talking about Rift of the Necrodancer, I believe it's called. So yeah, another new rhythm game. This completely glossed over my head. I completely forgot this was announced. But the first thing I saw when I saw the first screenshot of this, I was like, "Is that Undyne?" So, yeah, that's the first thing I got out of this. Undyne.
So the reason why I was so excited about this, and I ended up purchasing it, was I really like Cadence of Hyrule. I like rhythm games in general. I used to be such a big fan of DDR that I almost passed out in an arcade after spending $10 worth of quarters on one. And so I just thought, ooh, another excuse to play DDR but with my hands. It sounds cool. And now that I've actually played it, it's alright. It definitely has a feel of the whole, pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time kind of vibes to it, even on the easiest difficulty. And I'm normally not the type that likes to do the easiest difficulty in rhythm games, but this game, this game can be something else.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, made by the Cadence of Hyrule devs, it has Celeste DLC, and they said there's just going to be more. And there's even some leitmotifs from Cadence of Hyrule, which is cool. Some of the composers of that game worked on it. There's a story mode, but it's not that great. It's mainly just an excuse to present the songs to you at a gradual difficulty curve, rather than you just jumping right into the menu.
I see. So they don't have an Undertale DLC, because that first woman looked really much like an Undyne.
Well, they said there will be more DLC. They didn't say what it would be.
Yeah, true. I could totally see Undertale in this. Have a Sans. I could totally see that.
Oh, the world revolving would be so cool to play in a rhythm game.
Ooh, yeah, that would be interesting.
Or whatever Metaton's theme is. I'm not good at remembering the names of the songs in Undertale, but the one where you're dancing off against Metaton.
Okay.
Death by Glamour.
That's it, yeah. I remember. This is what happens when you don't play Undertale for a while, guys. You just kind of forget.
I did recently replay Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2 in preparation for 3 and 4, but that wasn't in the direct, so moving on.
Yep. There we go. Yes, anyway, moving on, but nice to see rhythm games are coming back. Right, next one. Oh, yes, I can finally talk about something, guys. I can finally talk about something. This was the longest trailer I think they had in the direct, and that is good old Pokemon. Good old Pokemon Legends ZA, as they call it. So for those who have not been keeping up with the Pokemon series, Pokemon Legends is a new series that Game Freak has decided to take on, which, if you guys remember, Arceus came out in 2020, 2021, something like that, I think? Maybe?
2022.
Well, I'm completely off, guys. My apologies. Which that did amazingly. People loved Legends Arceus.
Except for me.
Well, you played an hour of it, and you said it was pretty.
I didn't say it was pretty.
You didn't say it was pretty? I thought the graphics weren't too bad.
No, I said the graphics look abysmal.
Oh, well, excuse me, guys. I thought the graphics looked fantastic for a Pokemon game.
I mean, you look at Breath of the Wild, and it looks so much better, and that came out on inferior hardware.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Heck, I've seen some GameCube games that look better than Arceus, and this new Legends game, it looks better than Arceus, I'll give it that, but it still looks pretty dreadful.
This is why I'm talking about it,
of course,
guys.
I'm not much of a Pokemon fan, so I know everyone's gonna hate me for that. So I'm waiting for her supporters in the comments to want to boycott me.
They already do on a daily basis whenever we play Pokemon, and you talk about ugh, and they're just like, you shut up.
I was actually told that when I was on another person's stream that I was just complaining about the game so much that the moderator said, the rest of us want to actually enjoy this game, so can you keep your negative thoughts to yourself?
Goodness. But yeah, I think, yeah, so Pokemon Legends ZA got announced at I think the well, it got announced at a Pokemon Presents, and so this is the first time they've actually shown it during a Nintendo Direct. And basically what the premise of it is, you had Legends Arceus, which was about the past. This one is kind of about the future. So this one is set in X and Y. I'm going to butcher the name of this. I think it's Lumos City.
Well, they refuse to have voice acting in their games, so of course we'll butcher it. And it looks like they won't have voice acting in this one because they didn't show anything in the trailer. So yay, Game Freak, you're still behind the times.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild had voice acting, and that came out in inferior hardware.
Gosh. But
Heck, Ocarina of Time had more voice acting than Pokemon. Oh, that's embarrassing.
But yeah, so Legends ZA is pretty much about the future. There's why is it called ZA? Well, we learned why it's called ZA because at night in Pokemon there is a battle royale, and you got to go from rank Z all the way to A. So you got to go through the whole alphabet. So that'll be fun. But there's also a story mode involving the amazing Zygarde Pokemon that people obsess over. They're bringing back Mega Evolutions, which everyone's really happy about. I'm happy about it because I've never played the X and Y series, which I believe that's when Mega Evolutions first came out. So I'm very excited to see these Mega Evolutions. I just hope that it's not like Scarlet and Violet, you just press a button to get to use the Mega Evolution. I hope that we can actually unlock it sometime in the game. Another thing is they've changed the battle mechanics for Pokemon Legends ZA quite a lot. It's similar to Arceus, but there's a lot of difference in it. Like, you and your Pokemon can move around during the battle. You can sneak up on Pokemon and people as well.
About time.
Yeah, I know, right? One thing you got to be careful for. Well, you don't get random encounters, but if you get caught, then the battle starts. You got no choice. You can escape the wild Pokemon, but I think for people, if they catch you, you gotta fight them. So,
So earlier, you said, I wish it's not like Scarlet and Violet 1, and I said, you could have just stopped there. I wish it's not like Scarlet and Violet.
Nah, it does look better than Scarlet and Violet, that's for sure, guy.
As long as it runs better than Scarlet and Violet, I might be willing to say it's passable, but certainly not good or great, but it could be passable based on what I've seen. But they gotta do something about the graphics and make even just a little bit of voice acting. Again, Ocarina of Time had more voice acting than Pokemon does.
I don't think we're ever gonna know why they won't put voice acting in their mainline games, to be honest, and why they'd rather put it in their spin-offs.
Probably because, I would imagine because the anime has voice acting and they probably don't want too much crossover or something like that.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm surprised it still doesn't have a release date though. Nintendo, what are you doing? You guys have like people waiting. I think they said late 2025, so I'm thinking of a November release date.
At least they're not rushing it.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, they're actually taking.
Because Scarlet and Violet came out the same year as Arceus, and boy, could you tell. Yeah,
because they announced this last year. I think they didn't say anything about it, or maybe they even announced it in 2023. I don't know, but I remember them announcing it. They never talked about it in 2024, and now they started talking about it this year. So it's gonna come out, guys. It's gonna come out.
Good job, Game Freak. You get a bronze star.
Great. All right. Well, we've hit the 5-minute mark on that one. Right. This one. Didn't you say this game has been like nearly a decade in the making? Which is good old Rhythm Haven.
Rhythm Heaven.
Oh, close enough.
And yeah, it has been a very long time. So, as you know, I really like rhythm games. The original Rhythm Heaven came out on the Game Boy Advance, but it was a Japan exclusive. They made a remake of that game on the DS, and then they made an all-new game called Rhythm Heaven Fever on the Wii, which not that many people played that because it came out the same year the Wii U did, unfortunately. And then they made a remake of both of those games called Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix that had songs from all 3 of the previous games. So this will be, from what I can tell in the trailer, it looks like it's finally going back to the first brand new Rhythm Heaven game since 2012. And here was probably the biggest thing about the trailer that kind of shocked me. It's a 2026 release.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch 2 is confirmed for 2025. And yet Nintendo's still saying, yeah, this is going to be a Switch 1 game after the Switch 2 comes out.
I think it'll still come out on the Switch 2, but yeah, that is surprising. There were 2 games that were announced for a 2026 release, and this was one of them. And I was pretty surprised as well. I was like, wow, they're still going to release stuff on the Switch 1 after the Switch 2 release. So
I will say one thing that really annoyed me about the trailer. They had AI voice acting.
Was it AI voice acting, or was it just someone talking and they put up a weird voice thing?
It was absolutely AI voice acting. Because they probably wanted it to fit with the humor of the game, but I had enough of that in Endless Ocean Luminous.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
We've hardly even talked about the game itself.
Yeah, come on, Paul. Tell me about Rhythm Heaven. Why is this absolutely amazing? Why has it been so long since the last one? Why is it like the best rhythm game ever?
So what makes Rhythm Heaven different from the other Rhythm Heaven, or from all the other rhythm games out there, is that each mini game is its own unique song and its own unique set of animations. Whereas like most rhythm games will have like the same engine that you just play for every song. Whereas this, like, one song you'll be golfing, another song you'll be dancing. And so they try to mix up the actual gameplay so that you're not bored of just seeing the same old lines going toward the bottom of the screen that Guitar Hero overused.
Yeah, kind of. I got, for some reason, I got WarioWare vibes from this because everything was completely random and weird, and like I was like, okay, and then I don't know.
Actually, I think it might have been developed by the WarioWare devs. Now that I think about it,
really?
that I think I'm just guessing, but
who knows?
it seems like the kind of thing they would make.
That, you know what, this sounds like, because everything is so random and different and weird and wacky. So if this ain't made by the WarioWare group, then I'm surprised. So, but yeah, I couldn't stop laughing at the start of this because the little character that came up talking was just sounded so funny, and then the beat came in and I was like, yeah, and then the sound the little guys were making, and I was like, what is going on? And the person I was watching was with Price. He knew straight away. He's like, I know what this is, and I'm just like, I have a feeling I know what this is, but I'm confused at what I'm watching. But yeah, how long did you say? 8 years since the last one, nearly? Would have been nearly 8 years.
So the previous one came out in 2017, and then the one before that came out in 2012.
Wow.
And the one before that was, I think, 2008 or 2009. So they certainly... So it's a franchise that they take their time with these entries.
You know what? A series that takes their time. You know what? I think that's better than most things.
Yeah. Pokemon could learn a thing or two from that.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, oh, Pokemon could learn a thing or two. Like, you don't need to like keep with the times and release everything in a year. Just like take your time, you know. But maybe don't take too long. Silk Song.
Yeah, which wasn't in the direct.
Which is no, actually that's a good thing. So, yeah. So congrats to the Rhythm Heaven group for finally getting what they want. Speaking of 2026 release dates, it's time to talk about not the final thing that was announced, but the final game that was announced, and which, the one that we've all been waiting for, the one that Nintendo knew that we've been waiting for, the one that everyone begs every time, every Twitter thing I see, the day before, it's always like, if this game gets announced, I will make art, or I will buy everyone this, or I will do this, and it never happens, and they get away scot-free. Well, you didn't this time, Twitter, because finally, after over 10 years, we got Tamagotchi Life, but it's coming in 2026.
In
so
2026.
We gotta wait longer.
So, I actually played the original Tamagotchi Life back when it was relatively new,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really get the hype behind it. I thought it was alright for the first couple of hours, but then it just felt like there was no direction to it. Like, you just repeated the same old events, and there didn't seem like there was any kind of narrative purpose for any of it. I will say though, I do think that normally I don't like AI voice acting, but Tomodachi Life does it in such a way that it makes it funny.
Yep.
Like, there was a mini game in the original game where you would like write out song lyrics.
Yes. Yep.
And they'd get AI to sing it for you. And this was before the AI craze was going overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was hilarious for me to write my own songs, because I'm a songwriter. I wrote my own songs and put them in the game and see like, dang, that's actually pretty darn close to how my song would have been if I was an AI singer.
Yep. So for those who have watched this, and for those in both sides of our channels, who thought it was Animal Crossing first? Raise your hand, because everyone did. Everyone thought it was. Every person I have asked, everyone said, I thought it was Animal Crossing. Can you blame them? The beach, the little pretty little nature. I don't blame them for thinking it was Animal Crossing first. But then you saw the Miis and you go, hang on a minute, I thought Nintendo were practically done with the Miis. And then...
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
You read my mind.
Yep.
Like, so many people think that, the Switch 2 is not going to have Miis because Nintendo hates the Miis after what they did in Nintendo Switch Sports, but that was Tomodachi Life's big hook, is that you're getting into all these ridiculous scenarios, but what makes it funny is that you have your Miis in the scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And when they revealed the original Tomodachi Life, they had a bunch of Nintendo executives as the Miis.
Yep.
This one, they didn't do that because Nintendo has moved away from their silliness era.
Well, they showed right at the end, the one with the giant meme, with the one with the giant me coming over. Apparently those two have been around in the past, other ones. I don't know if they have names, but apparently, like, their faces and similar hair and stuff. They've been around some of the me stuff for a while, but they're not as, like, big ones that we know, like Wii Mat and stuff. They're, like, kind of like sub ones. So
Interesting.
But, yeah, I can't believe that this is finally out. There were 4 games that we've been begging Nintendo to announce. One of them was Metroid, which has been announced and is finally coming out. Another one was Tamagotchi, that's been announced and is coming out. And the other 2 that people are still waiting for are Silksong and Deltarune. So, now
but at least Deltarune got confirmed for this year, whereas Silksong is still...
Silksong's up in the air.
So, I know I sounded pretty harsh towards the original Tomodachi Life, but it's mainly because I like games that have a bit more structure to them, whereas Tomodachi Life is an extremely random and quirky game that wants you to laugh more than it wants you to feel any sense of accomplishment.
Which I think is what they're aiming for, to be honest. I think
they
want more.
But at the same time, I'm intrigued because I like the concept of Mii's being put into silly scenarios. That's why I liked Miitopia. I didn't love it, but I thought Miitopia was pretty decent because it actually had a story justification behind all this stuff. And from what I heard, Miitopia was like an apology to Tomodachi Life players who were disappointed by some of that game's shortcomings. And Nintendo said, while you're waiting for the next Tomodachi Life, Miitopia will have a few other things that couldn't make it into there. Let's just say that if it weren't for Miitopia, you guys are going to feel old now. The original Tamagotchi collection was originally on the DS, which was a Japan exclusive. And then Tomodachi Life came out in 2014, which was a pseudo remake of that DS game. So by the time this new one comes out, it'll have been 12 years since the last Tomodachi game, if you don't count Miitopia.
Yeah.
But if you do count Miitopia, then it'll have been almost 9 years, not counting the remake on Switch.
Still a while, guys, but you know what?
Another franchise that likes to take its time within centuries.
Yeah, you know what? This is what people have been waiting for, and I guess if this is truly the last Switch 1 Direct, what a way to end them. Putting in a game that people have been begging since the Switch came out. So...
I mean, if it makes people happy,
I'm
then
happy.
I'm happy. Like, obviously, I don't want Nintendo to only cater to me. There's other types of gamers out there.
Of course.
I just don't want them to charge $60 for it. I think the original only cost $30, which makes it even more embarrassing.
But you know what Nintendo's like? Even if an old game costed this much, it's going to cost more on a new console.
But this isn't a remake, so credit where credit is due.
True.
At least you can't make that excuse.
At least it has a subtitle, guys, living the dream. So I guess they dreamed to be in Animal Crossing because that's what it looks like.
Well, I'm pretty sure Animal Crossing inspired Tomodachi Life to an
honestly
extent.
thought that Animal Crossing devs made this because it looks so similar to Animal Crossing.
Well, I think they did, actually, because as far as I know, both games were just developed in-house by Nintendo themselves.
Yeah, so maybe either they were inspired or they did help out working on this because it looks really good. But guys, I can finally continue my Tomodachi series. We can continue, and we can start with a new group, and I can bully Paul in it, make him eat weird food.
And I can have characters from my books all interact with Sans or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Goodness gracious. Sweet. Well, I think other than that, we could talk about the final announcement, which wasn't a game. we just thought, why don't we talk about it as the last thing was announced? The amazing, or some people maybe not so amazing, who knows, Shigeru Miyamoto came out, and people thought, is this something about the Mario movie? Is this something about the Legend of Zelda movie? No.
And you know what I said when I saw him? I said, oh no, this better not be a disaster. Because those of us who are fans of Paper Mario still have not forgotten the damage he did to that franchise, and how long it took for them to recover.
Well, people have been pretty amazed, but basically, guys, what he announced is no movies, no games, are putting in a calendar on your phone. So
to be honest, it's not a spectacular announcement, but I will say that I probably liked it more than anyone else that watched it because I no longer have Twitter. And I generally just don't scour the internet for news. Usually she's the one that'll like message me when I first wake up saying, Paul, there's gonna be a direct tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, now you tell me.
Well, I tell you as soon as I get an As soon as
Yeah.
I get told, I put it in straight away. I
did notice that. I was just on my computer. I saw the notification. All I saw was, well, in giant capital letters, guess we're doing 2 direct reactions.
Yeah, I guess we're doing 2 in a week.
So this is basically going to be like Nintendo Twitter, from what I've seen. And I downloaded the app, and I've only used it for 2 days, but from the 2 days that I can tell, I like the fact that it's a personalized app. So like you can decide what the general theme of the calendar is going to be. I chose Zelda because they didn't have a Fire Emblem option, but they do give you the option to say what Nintendo franchises you like. And one of those franchises was Fire Emblem. Xenoblade Chronicles was on there too. Star Fox wasn't, but they did have an icon for classics, so who knows.
I guess.
They also didn't have there was another old Nintendo franchise that no one talks about anymore. I think it's called Star Tropics. I don't see that ever referenced by Nintendo, and they published those games back in the days. Nintendo probably figured if we listed every single franchise we've ever done, we'd be here all day.
We would be here all day, and I think...
Because they didn't have Earthbound on there. Didn't have... Well, no, they had Splatoon.
Yeah, they did it at least. They did like their big main games that people know and made the most money pretty much. They had for like the theme of stuff especially, they had the main 4 that they know are big, which is Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, and Pikmin. That's 5 actually. You're off. I guess you.
They did have Fire Emblem.
No,
so.
but they do have it as a thing you want to be notified for, any Fire Emblem stuff. So I guess you get something out of it.
Now, as someone who did not select Splatoon as one of his favorite game series, I did not get anything Splatoon related on my newsfeed, but as someone who selected Xenoblade Chronicles, I got some nice artwork from some of the old games, which I don't think she did.
Yeah, so basically, one thing about this app that's pretty cool, because me and my friend Price tried it out the day it got announced. We both had Splatoon, obviously, as our main thing, but you actually get different things. So, for example, when I had like a little animation for the day, I got, I'm trying to remember what exactly I got. I think I got something about a cat or something. And Price got something completely different animation. But then we switched to a different one for Mario, and I had the fish, and I think he had something to do with Mario, so completely different. And even when you scroll down to see your new stuff, we both had something Splatoon related. We both had Zelda, but I had Art Museum, he had an orchestra. And then I got Splatoon lore, and he didn't, so he was jealous. So I think it's really cool that everyone gets something different. The problem is, I hope they don't recycle stuff, because I hope they have a lot of stuff that they're going to show, because that'd be nice. But you can also, and like I said, you can also be notified for stuff when it comes out. Like, I think it does show, it does also show when the next direct is coming. If you go back to the 20th, I think that's when the last Xenoblade thing came out, that it says when that's coming out. So they still have to do a few tweaks and stuff for, like, certain things coming out. But one thing's for sure, they did not expect this to be such success, because literally 24 hours they were like, we're sorry that this app is doing bad. Well, it's not doing bad, it was just very laggy and lots of people couldn't access it, because they didn't expect so many people to download the app. But, like, I don't blame them.
Yeah,
it's fun. There's
I
like
had trouble.
there's like short wording for people so they don't have to read like heaps of stuff. They can read short stuff. Like, it's fun. It's a great app. I think it's great. I have it on my phone. I'm gonna use it every morning as like my calendar to see what's going on. So it's great. But he pretty much went here. You want to watch the directs not on a TV or a PC? Have your phone. So.
And what I like about it is that I check to see how far in the future it would go. It goes until at least 2029, and that way I can check what day my birthday falls on, and it's not going to be on a Sunday for the next 4 years. It's going to be right on Easter this year, but the next 4 years it's not.
So yeah, but they also announced the live-action Zelda movie on this app. They announced the release date. No trailer, just the release date, and I was like, oh, so it is useful for something. So, good job, because I was surprised.
That is nice, because I wouldn't have known that if it hadn't been for this app.
Yeah,
because she never messaged me.
Yeah,
I don't have Twitter. Didn't see anything on YouTube.
But I was showing someone that didn't watch the direct and I was opening it up, and I saw Triforce, and I was like, okay, something Zelda, and then, bam, released it, and I'm like, wait, what? So, I'm surprised, but yeah, I hope this app does good. I think it's gonna do well. It's definitely gonna be better than anything else they've produced lately. So
I think it could potentially make their series sell better, because people have such short attention spans now that if you have a way for them to quickly browse through like what's coming up this day, they'll be like, wait, Fire Emblem? What's a Fire Emblem? Maybe I should try it because Nintendo says it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, definitely.
Says someone who's never played a Fire Emblem game.
Listen, I didn't put on Fire Emblem as my following stuff, but, you know, shut up! Well, yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all the stuff that we have listed for our list of the direct, because like I said, guys, we don't talk about everything that we actually want to play, we just talk about what we actually want to play, so...
At least it didn't have too many farming sims.
Yeah, I think they only had like 2 or 3.
I could only count maybe like 1 or 2 actually, which was great.
Yeah, good job for doing that, Nintendo.
Overall, I would say this direct was alright. I'm not good at giving letter grades because I was homeschooled, but I would say alright is the adjective I would give it.
I'd give it like a C or B or C.
I don't know what that means, but...
it means pretty good. You pass.
Oh. Yeah, I suppose. The third Somnium Files was spectacular, but everything else from there was just like...
yeah, that was for me. I was like, getting bored, and then Tomodachi was like, ah! That was completely opposite.
Yeah, it was kind of a boring and meandering direct, and, you know, some of the stuff we already knew about, but it was good to get release dates, but, you know, there was some rentable stuff on there at the very least. Nothing besides Rift of the Necrodancer that made me say, I want to go and buy that. But a third Somnium Files on the Switch, another game by Kotaro Uchikoshi, when we're the same year we got 100 Line Last Defense Academy, which I think he's also working on. Like, we Spike Chunsoft fans are
You guys
having
get
a really
spoiled.
good year. So with that, thank you so much for watching our long-winded predictions all about this very run-of-the-mill direct. I hope we managed to give you a more entertaining time than the direct did.
Yeah. But yeah, I truly think this is probably going to be the last Switch One Direct. So with that, thanks guys for dealing with all our craziness with Nintendo Switch One Directs. I cannot wait for how the rest of these directs are gonna go because I'll probably just get called Switch Two Directs at this point. So we appreciate it. Thank you. We will still be here. Don't worry. We'll still talk about them. We'll just give that Switch Two news, and if they talk about any Switch One stuff, we can shove it in there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the Switch 2 Direct, pretty much, because that's coming up next. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much. Did you just end the recording before I could say